So how much money does Jeff Bezos have? It's going to shock you. Hello, so today we're going to go over the money that Jeff Bezos has, and it's going to pretty much shock you when I go ahead and tell you what he makes. And what he's worth, basically. But I'm going to give it to you in a different way. So basically, a lot of people will show you, oh, he's got X amount of money and this is what he can buy. But I'm going to show you what he can actually buy based off just the interest he makes every year without actually touching any of his principal. And I'll go ahead and explain this in a second. It's a little bit mind-boggling to wrap your head around it. So stay tuned and let's get into this. It's kind of fun. It's going to be a fun video, and you're going to probably be a little bit upset at the end of it just to know what you make on your paycheck. But it's a little bit fun to kind of dabble in this, and let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so first of all, he's worth $150 billion, not 100, $150 billion. So a lot of people out there don't even know what $1 billion is. Well, $1 billion is 1,000 times a million. So 1,000 times a million is basically a billion. So he's basically going to have 150,000 times $1 million, or 150,000 $1 million. Again, if you're not good at math and things like that, then this isn't going to really help you that much. So it's better just to kind of visualize what you actually, I'll go ahead and show you what he can buy basically in a given day. It's a little bit funner to do it that way. So, but again, we're going to take a little bit different peek at this. We're going to do it based off of his interest and how he invests. All right, so what we're going to assume is, let's say he's got $150 billion. And let's assume that he invests his money just like we all do, and he can only make 5% on his money per year, so just basically 5%. Now, obviously, you can make probably higher than that just in the stock market or doing the S&P 500. Your 401k might make 7 or 10%, but let's just do 5% just to show you. So let's just assume he's got $150 billion in the bank and he makes 5% a year. What's that come out to? That's actually $7.5 billion a year that he'll make basically based off of his interest and not ever touching his principal. So every year, based off of 5%, he'll make $7.5 billion just on interest. And so what does that mean? So what can he buy just with that interest? And the beauty of this is, when you look at it, he's not even touching his principal. So he's still got $150 billion in the bank. He makes $7.5 billion in interest at 5%. And that $7.5 billion, what can that buy in a year? Or what is that worth? Let's go ahead and get into it. It's going to just boggle your mind. All right, so he's got $7.5 billion, and what does that equate to? So let's just go ahead and equate this down to something that people can relate to, and that's just the interest. So it's basically about $20.5 million a day. He can spend $20.5 million a day. He can spend about $856,000 per hour. And he can, let me see here, divided by 60, he can spend about $14,269 per minute. So let's go ahead and break that down to see what you can buy in that kind of a time frame and see what this is going to be, for a typical person if they wanted to go ahead and make some purchases on this. And again, this is only interest. All right, so basically at $7.5 billion on his interest of 5%, if he was to take that and he's making $20.5 million a day, what can he buy? At $1,800, he can buy roughly 11,415 IMAX. So, if you consider there's 3 people in the household, he can buy IMAX for every single person in a town maybe of 30,000 people each day. So that's one thing. Again, interest only. If you assume $60,000 for BMW, I know they go up and down from there. There's some cheaper ones, some more expensive ones. He can buy 342 BMWs per day. So he could probably buy them for everyone in his family, all of his neighbors and everything each day, and again, based off of interest. If the average house is about $300,000, and that's throughout the United States, I know it's a lot more in California and some other places, but just we got to take the average. He can buy roughly 68 to 69 houses per day. So he can go ahead and buy, basically 60 or 70 families a house every single day, just touching interest only. You guys have heard of the Honda Jet. Well, let's say you want to get a jet. He can buy roughly 4 Honda Jets per day. He can give them to his friends, maybe for a small gift or a surprise for his girlfriend when he meets her at dinner. And that's just on one day, and then the next day he can buy 4 more jets if he wants. All right, so again, he's got $150 billion. We're assuming 5% interest, so he's going to get about $7.5 billion every single year just in interest. That means his $150 billion is never touched. This is all free money from interest, $7.5 billion. If we equate that basically to per hour, he can buy about 4 Rolls Royces per hour and never touch his principal. He can purchase about 659 MacBook Pros, the newest model, base model, if they're about $12.99 each. He can get about 660 of them, roughly somewhere in there, and that's going to be basically per hour. He can purchase about 20 Tesla Model 3s per hour. So if he has 20 friends that he wants to give those to, he can give those out and never touch his principal. All right, so when you look at this per minute, it's about $14,269 per minute he can spend and never touch his principal. So that comes out to about 14 iPhones a minute. So if he's got 14 friends, if 60 seconds go by, he can get them all an iPhone. Or he can buy, every second he can buy an iPad base model as well, $250 every second. So basically if he sneezes, he can buy maybe 1 or 2 base model iPads and never touch his principal. But he really has 150 billion, that's 7.5 billion. So if you look at this, let's say he wanted to get, let's say he wanted to go into charity. He wanted to buy houses for everyone, assuming the 300,000 price point, for houses. That's the average throughout the United States. It includes the Midwest and things like that, so just keep that in mind. He could roughly buy 500,000 houses with $150 billion. So if you put that into perspective, the average household has about 3 to 4 people. Let's just assume 3.5, somewhere in there. He can buy everyone's house basically in a city the size of Phoenix. So if you think about Phoenix, what's about 1.7 million people? Think about, divide that by 3.5. I mean, that's going to be roughly the 500,000 households. So he can buy everyone in Phoenix a house with the money he has. Every single person that you see there. It's a little bit crazy, right? All right, and then the last thing is how long does it take you to spend $150 billion? Well, it's a little bit crazy, and you're not going to even believe this, but we'll go through it. So basically, if you have $150 billion, and let's say you want to be a little bit frugal, and you want to spend $10 million a year. So let's say you say, I got $150 billion. I want to spend $10 million every single year. It's going to take you 15,000 years to spend your money. That's that's if you weren't getting any interest at all, obviously. So let's look at that. So it would be obviously right now it's the year 2019. So by the time it's the year 17,019, right? 17,019 the year. I can't even say it because it's not 2019. It's 17,019. That's the year. We'd probably have spaceships. He might run out of money. But again, he would earn interest, and he would never even you would get way more than $10 million a year, so he would never run out of money, actually, theoretically. So, anyways, if you're thinking about putting your brain into a freezer and actually living into 17,019 the year, you might actually see him, and he still is going to be rich at that time. So I'm sure he's got his head frozen too. I'm sure he's already had plans for that. So, it's not going to be a problem. You'll probably bump into him here and there if the world's still here. But in any case, a little bit of fun facts to go with. I just wanted to show everyone basically what this money means. It's going to get some people upset. Some people are going to laugh about it. But at the end of the day, it's too much money to comprehend. And if you can't figure out what it is, though, go ahead and study some more math. I think some people, when we talk about budgets and things in the U.S. government, when we have $20 trillion in debt and things like that, I don't think it equates to people's minds. As far as how much money that is and what it can actually buy. So just do some math on simple math on a calculator, and it'll be shocking to you. So just always good to know kind of stuff. So you know, like when someone's talking, oh, we're only going to spend $20 billion on this or $5 billion on this, you actually know what that means. Super important. So anyways, my 2 cents. All right, thanks for watching again, and please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get my subscriber base up. I'm only at like 300 and something right now during this video, and I need to get to that 1,000 mark for me to continue. It's going to help me out, so just please, if you can, thumbs up, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. I also do a lot of technology videos. I do finance videos, and I do travel, so peace.